Sorry. So yeah, I want to propose an idea about confidence and self-love that somewhere in our programming from childhood, we began to believe that we were unworthy of love. And this is at the heart of the lack of self-confidence, this idea that we're not worthy of love. I'm not worthy. And perhaps what happened was when we were acting out of innocence, for example, and we were told, don't do that, or no, you can't have that chocolate. At some point in childhood, we shifted from the belief that the world was our oyster into the challenging realization that maybe things weren't always going to go our way. No, 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 you mustn't do that. No, you can't have that. No, you haven't earned it. That kind of thing. And in our mind, this translated into the idea that I'm not worthy or lovable, because you go from this sort of innocent, guileless desire to explore and just be who you are, and you can be whoever you are, and you don't have to worry about how you're showing up or what you're doing or any of that stuff. But as we get older, we have this dawning realization that actually I can't just do what I want, and sometimes for very good reasons, just to keep us safe or whatever. But somehow in our mind, it gets distorted. So it doesn't matter whether the belief was true or not. Our young minds were not ready to make sense of it. And what was imprinted was the emotion, was the feeling of being diminished in some way. I hope that makes sense so far. So our growth is fundamentally about unraveling the program and installing new beliefs and patterns. So we can choose to make this transformation, but it does take effort. It doesn't just happen. So self-confidence might be something that we're born with, right? But as we grow up, we need to rediscover it. We need to find it again. Because, even in school, if you think about it, you're being assessed. And with all of this assessment comes doubt that you're not perfect and you're not going to get it right. And therefore, you might be less than in some way. So where do people turn when this happens? We turn to the validation of our family, our friends, our partners, to the achievement or the money we seek, all these forms of validation, or maybe just pure hedonism, alcohol, drugs, numbing, escaping, whatever it is. But without at least seeking to develop that foundational confidence, we get a bit lost. And I'm just going to say that the more you can develop confidence, the more fun life can be. So obviously, you can't just wave a magic wand and suddenly be confident. And as I say, it takes effort, right? But I'm going to give you my top 5 ingredients because I just think that's the easiest way of going about it. And then we can talk about this a little further afterwards. So the first ingredient is faith. Now, faith doesn't have to mean a religion. It doesn't have to mean a spiritual practice, but broadly speaking, it means the conviction that we live in a friendly universe, that things are working out for the best, that we have an inner guidance system. Or if you practice certain religions, an outer guidance system, however you want to look at it. And that as we move towards unconditional love, unconditional respect, and the idea that everything is for your highest good, that develops. That's a big belief shift to make for a lot of people. And I would say to you that it's something that takes time and application and work. The belief that things are working out for our transformation. I would say it also, I think it assumes that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. And that, if you're going to destroy the planet's going to fight back. If you're going to destroy your health, your body's going to rebel. So this faith that when I say a friendly universe, what I mean is that the challenges that we encounter are tailor-made for us. So having faith that it's not all in vain, that there is a reason and a purpose, and there is the opportunity for transformation. So that's number one, is that kind of faith. And as I say, it's hard won. Some people achieve it through prayer, some through meditation, some through study, reflection, being in nature, all things I've mentioned on previous courses. I mean, this is a topic that goes round and round on itself. Number two, self-love, self-care. And I have talked about this previously. Charlie, I specifically remember you responded to this one. So self-care means spending time with yourself. It means things like taking time off screens, meditation, being rather than doing. I really struggle with this, by the way. You know, just I'm constantly doing, I'm constantly busy. When I actually take half an hour to just sit on my butt without a screen on, without some kind of entertainment, really makes a difference. And this is about finding the space to connect with yourself, because this is about finding your authentic self. It's not the you that society wants you to be. It's not the you that your family want you to be. It's not the you that you should be, that your friends want you to be, that your partner wants you to be. It's really figuring out who is the you. Okay. Number three is overcoming goop. And a few of you touched on this. So goop is the good opinion of other people. So I have had a really profound transformation in this area in the realms of relationships. And I was, as I often say, I was in a relationship for many, many years. I was married to someone who didn't like the parts of me that I now love. So the person who's going to open the back door and go and dance around the garden for no reason, or be really kooky, or make a stupid joke, or, you know, sing really loudly in the kitchen, or do something silly, or go on Instagram and record a video of me spoofing someone else. You know, that was all pushed down in service of my relationship, of being the person I wanted, that other person wanted me to be. So much so that recently, when I entered into a new relationship, I thought I had to play quiet and demure. Now, how's that going to work out? That's just not me. So, you know, that was about thinking I had to become someone else to please other people. And one of the benefits of getting older is that seems less appealing doing that. So, I mean, most of you on this call are younger than me. It's a great thing to know that you just don't need to do that. It's pointless. It's actually pointless. So, you know, when Paula was talking about other, you know, when you show up with confidence, other people putting you down, well, so what? Right? So what? Doesn't matter. And I'm not asking you to address this now. You might want to address it later, but it's not your problem. Confidence and self-love says, I love myself exactly as I am. I find this at work all the time as well. You know, if someone wants me to be a certain way within that role, well, then it's not the right role for me. And I'm not going to play ball. Because my happiness, my confidence, and my self-love has a much higher value than what someone else thinks of me. Or, you know, Susan, you talked about social situations at a party, and I really get that. You know, I think it's one of the uncomfortable things about being around large groups of people. I think being a good listener, being that introverted, good listener person is just as important. But the question is, do you think it's just as important? And I would ask, of myself, like, why do I need to go to that big party if I'm going to sit there feeling uncomfortable and challenged? Why do I need to go there? Maybe it's not where I'm meant to be. Maybe it's not the best place for me. So that ties in, to what I was saying before about self-care and knowing who you are and being able to show up with authenticity. So number 4 is who you hang out with, who you spend time with. And this is really powerful. This is what Peter Sage calls the 95% rule, the law of conformity. If you know your values and you stick to them, you will choose the right peer group for you. If you are with people who don't elevate you, I'm just going to say, what the hell are you doing there? Why would you be there? Also, people are going to keep you accountable. People are going to call you on your BS. People who are going to tell you, actually, that's out of line. So that helps build confidence when you have people lifting you up and people who can lovingly, really lovingly put you in your place. That's super important. So the reason it's called the 95% rule or the law of conformity is it's just a fact that you start to adopt the qualities and traits of the people you spend the most time around. So I know that a few of you on this call have spoken about corporate. Well, one good reason to not want to stay around corporate is because the rules and values that are going on there don't tend to build confidence. And Bruce, you even mentioned that people are showing up with all this bluff and bluster. That's not true confidence. So, and you probably knew that on a really deep level. So why would you want to stay around that? It's not going to serve you. And finally, number 5, this is a whistle stop tour today, is being willing to take risks. Now, I love this one. And Charlie, I think you mentioned it about being outside your comfort zone and being willing to push yourself into places that are uncomfortable. Here's what Peter Sage says about this, and I love this quote. The quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably handle. So, Terry, you spoke about taking on technology. No, firstly, no one says you have to do that, but if you are going to do that, well, can you be comfortable with the discomfort of learning a new thing? Or Sonia with taking on the new challenge of running your own business. So I found that the most exciting thing and the most confidence building thing in my life has been this willingness to shake it up and move on and do something new. Even tonight was a risk for me because last night I was very, very sick with vertigo, but I thought, no, I'm not going to cancel this call because when I want to develop a relationship with people. So it becomes a way of life, the willingness to take risks, the willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. It's the thing that's given me a lot of joy in my life, going from being a musician to being a teacher to now being a coach and trainer. And, and also being in sales. I mean, all of that is a life I could not have imagined 30 years ago. But with it has come incredible confidence, because every time I've stepped out into a new frontier, I've had to step up and transform and become confident in the face of a new challenge. So I don't really have anything more I want to say about that. There are a lot of tips there, and I'd love to hear what you think about any or all of them. So I'm going to quickly put them in the chat box so you can see what they are. And I'm going to open the floor to people commenting, because this is your group. It's not just about me. this is your opportunity to get more confident by stepping outside your comfort zone and knowing that you can do this. And as you've all already demonstrated, I'm going to let you guys do some of the lifting tonight. So, Jana, go for it.
Good evening. I don't know if confidence and self-esteem is kind of similar, is it? In my understanding.
I said that at the beginning, but I didn't get a chance to pursue that. By the way, I'm just gonna I am gonna take off the recording so that nobody has to feel uncomfortable. How do I turn off the recording?
I think it's at the top. No, bottom.
It should
Now,
be at the top.
now that I've run the call, I've
Here we
actually
go.
got